Hello. Think of the next 15 minutes as a speed surf through the best of the World Wide Web's resources for English teachers. We went to Chestnut Grove Secondary School in South London and asked the staff there which sites they found most useful in planning lessons and providing support. And, helpfully, they told us. This is their top 10. At number 10, it's the guru you don't have to do any difficult yoga to meet.
It bridges exam boards, so whether you're studying an AQA exam board or EdXL, the AS Guru is appropriate to any students because it contains generic tasks. If students are asked to produce a presentation on a poem or a scene from a Shakespeare play, they can use the generic skills. They can access it without a great deal of help from the teacher. I would point certain kinds of students to it, not so much the gifted and talented students. I would imagine students who are sort of attempting to achieve that sort of C/D borderline grade, those who are trying to get beyond a D grade to a C grade. What makes it an effective website is the sample exam answers and how the BBC has broken down what makes an effective exam answer.
But our top 10 websites aren't just about breaking things down. Our next site builds up into a very useful teacher's resource.
Teachers have actually come up with the worksheets. A lot of them have got things like literacy objectives in there, so you know that it's been put together effectively and adhering to those objectives.
It's good for information, it's good for kind of getting ideas and seeing what other teachers are doing, but I mean I would never really recommend just lifting a lesson off of the internet, despite how easy and kind of seductive that idea is, and just teaching it in the classroom.
When I've looked through it, for instance, to help me with my teaching, I will take aspects from the schemes of work and adapt those maybe to fit in with what we do actually at Chestnut Grove. But the most useful we find it is when teachers are off. There are some really good worksheets on there that students can do, and we know they're getting a decent lesson if staff are absent.
The problem of copying things off the internet. Well, that's never happened before. Film Studies takes the next position in our countdown. Here's our Super 8.
Long Road Media is an excellent website for A-level media students. They can find out about not only media studies but film studies. It also breaks it down into AS and A2 media.
It's just really useful in that it enables them to go away and look at other students' work, and then they can actually produce their own and see good examples of other work that isn't just produced at Chestnut Grove.
It's all very well to show them, you know, a very well-known director's piece of work and for that to seem out of their reach. But I think we can always be showing them work that people who are their peers are managing to produce. I think that does inspire them, and it gets them used to being able to critique each other's work.
Nicely critiqued there. The web has been around since the mid-1990s, and our next site has been online for about half that time. It's the universally loved Universal Teacher.
What Universal Teacher does, it provides you with a really comprehensive, almost revision guide, and as a teacher you can use that as the basis of your own understanding of the text. I think it's intended for students as well, but I think it's a certain type of student. I don't think it's accessible to all students, probably those who want to get an A or an A star at GCSE. It really just breaks it down into the necessary sections. It's very geared towards assessment objectives, particularly at GCSE, and so you know that it's almost a comprehensive guide.
From specific aids for teachers to a site that covers just about everything. Some bright spark came up with our number 6.
In terms of differentiation, it can apply to any level of student. You've got the basic plot overviews that, you know, your perhaps lower ability students can access it and be able to get on with the reading. That it extends them right up to giving a contextual background for those people that are going for the higher grades. I think with SparkNotes the best way to approach it is because it is so vast. is to go on to the website knowing really specifically what you are looking for.
One particularly interactive aspect, which I use in the classroom a lot, especially sort of plenaries to lessons, are the interactive multiple choice quiz, which you can do as a whole class and then you can mark there and then, which makes it, you know, a lot of fun.
Fun. Fun is good. But sometimes students and teachers don't find fun in the same thing. You know what I mean? Yes, you do. Our next recommendation returns us to the world of film and media.
If students are working on it independently, I think it's, you know, very, very valuable because it completely widens their perspective, in this case of film, and they'll get to see films that they would never probably usually see at home. Staff can go on, if they don't know about textual analysis in films or different ways in which films are produced, they can actually work through it themselves and then implement that into their teaching. There's an area where obviously you can download study guides which have been produced. You can also, there's really good links to lots of other media related sites, and there's also a shop where you can buy excellent media related texts that are often quite hard to get hold of.
Combining learning and shopping. What better use of time is there? Well, one might be going to our next site, the educational resource from The Guardian. Learn Premium.
I think what makes Learn Premium so special is the ease with which you can differentiate the activities and resources that it contains. It also has a huge bank of resources, and it's also very specific to texts that are covered at Key Stage 3, Key Stage 4, Key Stage 5.
The information, the way it takes you almost down on a scrolling basis. So you and it talks you through it as a teacher would. It explains it really, really clearly.
It builds up that knowledge base quite effectively through short chunks of information followed by a task. Not only is the task set, there is a sample answer to that task, so there's lots of sort of independent work that is possible.
We're approaching our top websites now. And at number 3, there's a destination specifically designed for those at the top of the achievement ladder. Steady up there.
The thing that I use most off the London Gifted and Talented website is the In Between the Lines pathway. It's specifically for English and media students who are either at Key Stage 3 working kind of level 7, or it can also be used for GCSE media students.
I'd use it anywhere when you have time to use it. Just get on it and do some revision.
There's a range of activities based on some really interesting subjects like design of babies, homelessness, censorship in the media. They have a range of activities, just some simple text-based activities where you kind of have a transcript of a text and you just can write about it, but they also have video clips on there that you can edit down. They have images that you can crop so that it gets across a particular message, audio streams that you can kind of edit and adapt to make the kind of point of view, the opposite point of view.
There's challenges for people to do as well. Shows you a clip and you have to write what is good about it, the impact it had and everything.
The activities on there are difficult. They are for students who are level 6 and 7, and the idea is that they can work through it without any help.
Young people talking about their work. I feel inspired by that.
The best thing about the London Gifted and Talented website is the fact that if you subscribe, and it's free to subscribe, and get your students their own logins, then when they do their work they can submit it to an e-tutor, so you don't have to mark it.
The joy of not marking. Our next site is like a favourite teacher in itself. At number 2, it's ProQuest Learning.
There are some really great things on there. There's some really good Shakespeare stuff that makes it really accessible for Key Stage 3. Little activities like where you can dress up Macbeth in combat gear, or dress him as like a 1940s kind of gangster dude, or there's lots of kind of fun stuff on there, but that you also have that kind of more intellectual level as well.
It has a Shakespeare glossary, so it actually helps me understand certain poems if I don't understand what I'm searching for or reading.
With some more famous poems, you can actually have like videos or kind of audio streams of people actually reading out those poems, which can be really useful, especially as we all work off interactive whiteboards here. So you can get that up immediately, and all of a sudden you've got something that is more interesting than listening to me read out Dr. Jones' Quorum Est.
My teacher told me that it would help me with what I'm doing in my English class, so I checked it out over the weekend and she was right.
With ProQuest Learning, the information it's kind of reduced down and it's better presented, and there are images, and there's some really good kind of image banks for different things.
It's quite helpful with my coursework that I'm doing right now. I found a poet from the 1640s here that will help me to get an A in my GCSEs, or maybe an A star.
We've seen 9 great websites so far. But what did our teachers rate as their number 1? Well, that's about to be revealed. But first, a reminder of 10 down to 2. At 10, BBC AS Guru. At 9, Teach It. At 8, Long Road Media. At 7, Universal Teacher. At 6, Spark Notes. At 5, Film Education. At 4, Learn Premium. At 3, London Gifted and Talented. At 2, ProQuest Learning. The website our teachers chose as their number 1 combines many of the best aspects of all the others, packed with information, fun, and presented with consummate panache. It's the BBC's Bite Size.
Students can go away and work on it independently, and they can test themselves, the answers are there in front of them, and they can even contact a teacher.
For people who's doing their GCSEs, doing their SATs, it's really good that you can play games at the same time you're doing your learning.
It talks to them in a way that they need to understand what the requirements and expectations are for the examinations, and it does that in a very clear step-by-step process.
Yeah, it's quick and easy to use when you use it, because you just type in one question, then all the answers are there.
So not only do they understand the skills they need to write in a certain way for the examination, then have questions to answer, they get feedback from an examiner's perspective.
I think the site's been designed by looking in some cases at computer games.
There's like this game when you're flying, after you go to these stands, after they're asking you questions. After, if you get the question wrong, like you have to go back a few spaces, and then it's very interesting and it keeps you addicted to it.
We've noticed here it really appeals to boys as well. Boys will sit and do spelling and grammar exercises, and they'll sit and do them independently at lunchtime because they feel that they're playing a game.
You want to inject that moment of fun and really bringing it alive. I think some of the games there, some of the moments, the sort of the cartoon type aspects of it, allow the children to access it in a way that will always be memorable.
BBC, we all agreed with it. It was unanimous straight away.
So there it is. The BBC's Bite Size was voted unanimously as the top resource for English teachers by Chestnut Grove Secondary School. You can find all the websites you've seen on this programme and more by going to teachers.tv. In the meantime, happy clicking.